My experience with FabTech started many years ago when I was just a welding instructor and started going to different networking things here at FabTech, and it just kind of exploded my career. So yeah, I would say FabTech played an integral role in the development of my career.
I mean, I'll also shout out weld.com.
Weld.com?
Weld.com. So Weld.com is a resource for anybody that's in the weld industry. There's actually an app out now. You go to your app store. The positivity and the ability to learn from others online by just snapping a picture and putting it in this app that's specifically designed for welders it's a resource this arena has been missing for a long time.
Welcome to Making Sparks, the podcast where we ignite your passion for metal fabrication and fuel your business success. Join industry leaders and dive deep into the world of metalworking. From business insights to tips of the trade, Making Sparks is your forge of knowledge. During each episode, discover success stories, innovative solutions, and expert interviews that light the path to business growth. Subscribe today and grow and improve your company, and let's make sparks fly together.
Welcome back to the Making Sparks podcast. I'm Casey. I'm sitting here with my co-host, Matthew Nix. We're here live at FabTech 2023, and we're actually going to talk about a little bit in this episode about some of the benefits that fabrication companies can find if they come and attend a conference like FabTech. So, Matthew, I'm going to let you kind of take away a little bit about what you think about FabTech.
Yeah, I've been coming for quite a while. First time we went to FabTech, it was out in Vegas. So, I was in my early 20s. I mean, my brother and I went, couple of 20-something-year-olds, work trip to Vegas. I mean, pretty easy sell, right? So, but no, all joking aside, when we first started going, we couldn't afford any of the equipment here. So it's like, why would you go to see all this big fancy equipment if you couldn't afford anything here? And we actually were planning to buy our first CNC plasma table and knew we were going to have to buy a used table. But we decided to go to the show anyways. One, because it was Vegas, and why not? But two, we figured what better way to learn about all the equipment that's out there, even if you're going to buy a used, than to get to see it all in person, talk to the manufacturers. And we actually found a manufacturer we really liked, bought a used piece of equipment, and then later had that manufacturer retrofit it for us. So that's a pretty simple, tangible reason to come, but there's a lot more than that. So,
what do you think about networking opportunities? This is only my second FabTech I've ever been to. I'm a little bit different. I'm not a fabrication company owner, and I'm more of a service provider for fabrication companies. And I'm blown away by when you just one of the things I think is when you walk through and you just see all these people that you see in the publications, or you walk through and you find just all the variety of booths here and how big. I'm so surprised how big this place is.
Yeah, you get your exercise.
But what about networking opportunities here?
Yeah, I mean, people, when they hear networking, I think a lot of people sort of, at least I do, get kind of turned off at the idea of networking. But, just bumping you might sit next to somebody on the bus ride from the hotel over here. It's really interesting, and you never know. They might end up being a customer, or might just lead you. They might have saw a supplier yesterday, and you're talking like we're actually shopping for robotic welding right now. It's a really hot topic of ours, and I might bump into somebody that says, "Oh, you need to go over and see so and so. They're great." And you got to be in the place where the people are. And I always say the best networking happens at the hotel bar after the conference. I mean, that's where it's really at. Be thoughtful about the hotel you pick. All joking aside, we've learned to. We're pretty frugal about our hotels. We share rooms, as you know, but we'll spend a little extra and be in one of the hotels that's attached to the convention, to be where all the other people are. That's, if you're going to meet people and network, you got to be where they're at.
That's awesome. I will say, you mentioned something about possibly, network with someone on the shuttle, because these places are, FabTech's always in a bigger city, so you're always shuttled over there, right? And I will say, last year, one of the only pieces of business that I landed was a guy I sat with on a really crowded shuttle. He goes, "What do you do?" I said, "I make videos." He goes, "Well, he said some other guy came up to me and talked to me about videos." And he's like, "Tell me more. Why are you guys here talking about videos?" And I kind of told him and everything. And he asked for a business card, and sure enough, we actually did a video for him. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it is cool. You know what I just realized? We forgot the most important section of the show.
Oh no, a dad joke.
The dad joke. We can't do a Making Sparks series without a dad joke.
All right, I got another one. This is one off the top of my head because I had one written in my phone. My phone's over there charging. So All right. What did the horse say to the person that lives next to him? Howdy, neighbor.
All right. The one before was better. You're gonna have to.
That was a Casey original. Actually, I came up
So
with that
we're.
one.
Yeah, that makes sense. It adds up. Yeah. So you're on the theme with the animal dad jokes today. So all right. So, well,
I gotta bust out that dad joke book sometime.
stay tuned for next episode. Casey will redeem himself with the dad joke. But all right. So back to FabTech. So we're talking about reasons why you should come to FabTech, or just a trade show or conference in general.
I think another thing that people don't think about, and this is in any industry, but definitely here at FabTech, that I've felt again just today walking around, is the energy. Like sometimes you get burnt out at your work, and be able to mix it up and go to a conference.
Absolutely,
Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it motivates us. We are very intentional about investing in technology, and in our industry, if you're not doing that, you're going to get left behind. But it is so easy, when you're back in the grind every day, and the numbers and the financials, and you can just you can let that sort of take over your emotional position on purchasing or not purchasing. And I mean, of course, it's a balance, but the team likes to joke, like when Matthew goes to these shows, it's like, oh God, look out. And they tease the CFO about, get the checkbook ready. But in all seriousness, like you said, I mean, you need that energy, and you come here and you're just energized to reinvest. Like when I'm at the show, I don't care what the ROI is, like, this is badass. We need this, and then you go back and you figure it out, and there's some balance between the two. But yeah, if you never come and see what's going on, and you see that there's a better way to do things, like, man, we've got to step up our game, and yeah, so the energy's awesome, and I learn something new, even if I'm not looking at this particular piece of equipment. We learn something new every year.
If you're a fabrication business, and you're thinking about coming to like FabTech or another conference, should you have a goal in mind when you go there? Like, should you say, all right, I'm going here mainly just to learn what's out there, or should they have a goal of like, all right, obviously you want maybe have a goal if you're going to buy a piece of equipment, have like a financial goal, like we're not spending more than this, or we're going to research and stuff. Like, what are some goals that like you guys think about? Because I know that like even this week there's going to be some Knicks team members here just looking around, and I'm sure they have some goals.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're a really structured, regimented person like that, like I've learned that, like you wanted to know exactly what time we were going to go to lunch today. And I just sort of go with the flow. So no, I don't necessarily have rigid goals, but I guess you might want to do that. But yeah, I mean, we'll have certain focus areas. Like I said, right now we're really focused on robotic welding. So I was kind of scoping out early this morning. I was texting them, hey, make sure you go here, make sure you go there. But maybe not so much a goal, but like a strategy that we've used is day one, we'll just walk the whole show. If you stop and talk to people, I mean, you will get so bogged down, and you just can't. This thing's massive. You can't cover it. So what we try to do is day one, just walk the show and just take, scan the knocked my mic over. Scan the landscape, jot down some notes. Want to go back there, and then kind of narrow the list down to 5 to 10 booths you want to go back. And then on day two, because usually I do 2 days at these shows. I mean, you could certainly do more or less, but that seems to work. On day two, then we'll go have meaningful conversations with those folks, and really spend that, day two focused on that. Otherwise, if you don't have a strategy, day one, you stop and you have good conversations with 4 or 5 people and you don't make it through the show. So anyways, that's not really a goal, but more of a strategy we've deployed.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was looking for there. You talked about earlier, like some of the conversations you have afterwards, like in the hotel lobby, but like for real, like, I'm a guy, it's weird, I'm an outgoing person, but one of the things I'm not good at is like going to dinner with people that I don't really know, maybe,
Well, we're going to do that tonight.
I know. And I'm not good at that. Like, I ask, Alex, the guy behind the camera today, he always asks me to go to lunch during, office hours and stuff. Like, let's go get lunch. And I'm like, I just want to go buy me a Subway sandwich and sit and, watch my YouTube or do some work while I'm sitting at that desk. Do you have any advice?
Well, it's getting you out of your comfort zone. That's not all bad. Yeah. So what's the question?
So the question is basically like, should people kind of maybe plan that, like, you're not just at these conferences for during conference hours. You may be doing stuff after the conference, right?
Well, sure. Yeah. I mean, and your vendors the vendors have after hours events, people you buy equipment from, people you buy materials from. they're going to want to take you out, or they have happy hours they're hosting. Yeah, go to the happy hour, get a free beer, and you're going to bump into somebody.
It's awesome. What's your favorite thing so far in FabTech 2023? What's your favorite thing you've seen? I mean, it doesn't even have to be a piece of equipment. I mean, what's something that stood out to you? I'll tell you what stood out to me. I want to hear what stood out to you.
Yeah, man, you stumped me. I haven't got around the show very much yet today. Today's our first day here, but I tell you what stood out to me. I'll just stay on the same theme of robotic welding I've been on, because that's kind of what my mind's been focused on. What has stood out to me hasn't been any one booth or any one product. It's just the vastness of the robotic welding section here. I remember coming here 5 or 6 years ago, and it was a tiny percentage of what it is. Today, it fills up a huge hall. I mean, it's just the robotic welding technology is advancing so fast. They're using cobots now in welding, and so for those of you that aren't familiar with cobots, cobot robot doesn't have to be programmed, using conventional programming methods. You can actually train or teach the robot. You can move it along a path. It's using AI now. They've got, video where it's actually the cameras are seeing what's going on, a lot of different sensory, but the technology is just moving so fast. And, conventionally, robotics was thought of in a high volume, a low variability part mix, and the barriers to that are being reduced greatly. That's one reason why we haven't introduced robotic welding yet, is because we're a high variability, low part volume shop. We're a job shop, and there's probably a lot of job shops listening here and can relate to what I'm saying. And now, I mean, the volume you need to run to justify a cobot, a self-training cobot, or some of the others out there is a game changer. And so we're really interested in a lot of that. And there's just it's overwhelming how much is here. I think so. That's what stuck out to me, is like some of our couple of our vice presidents of operations are coming later in the week, and it's like I don't even know where to start, to take it all in. So
I'll say what stood out to me. Actually, me and Alex were walking through just a little while ago, and I actually said that. I go, it's crazy how many robotics are through here. And I was just thinking about that, because I was like, me being the guy that's on the outside looking in, I'm like, how can these all do different things? So that's that. I think that's pretty unique. But for me, it's the uniqueness of each booth out here now. Like I'm literally looking at a thing that says experience virtual welding. That's what stood out to me this year, was like all these cool booths, the way people are using their marketing, like the colors and stuff to get your attention. And I saw one where it was like get rid of black boogers, and
Yeah.
and I found out it's literally a I guess you call it a respirator filter for your
that
nose.
goes in your nostrils.
It goes in your nostrils.
Yeah.
That's
So
pretty cool.
for somebody that grew up in a welding shop that fixed farm equipment and crawled around running a 7-inch hand grinder in a semi-trailer, I can definitely relate to having black boogers. Yeah. I don't know how I would like those things up my nostrils, but back in the day, I would have been willing to try those.
I think I don't know. That's probably the most unique product I've seen, and I'm like you. I haven't really walked around too much, but yeah, cool.
Good. So what do you think? We're going to try to grab some folks and hear from them, but wrapping up here, final thoughts.
My final thoughts is I'm pausing for a second because I don't know my final
pause
thoughts.
editor.
Pause editor.
Hey everyone, it's Sparks of Knowledge time. I'm Adam Schmidt with ProFab Alliance, and today we're going to be talking about CRMs. I would venture to say that not many fabrication shops or even machine shops out there are using a CRM system. So a CRM is a customer resource management. Compare it to your material out in the shop. How much easier is it if you have an inventory management system? Well, a CRM does the exact same thing with your customers. So to start out, you need to develop your expectations. What type of data do you want to get out of your CRM? You may just want to know, what's my weekly sales volume? And let me know, when I need to follow up with this customer. So many shops out there, they'll get a request for a quote, they'll provide an estimate, send it to the customer, and then that's it. 6 months down the road, that customer calls and say, hey, I need this done. If you have a CRM, you can prompt yourself, hey, remind me to follow up with this customer in about, let's say, 2 months. The last thing I would want to say is just trust it. We put in that 2-month due date. Just forget it, Trust the CRM. It's gonna remind you. And overall, that's gonna alleviate a lot of the anxieties and stress of everything that you're trying to carry on your shoulders. So let the CRM do what it does best.
So we've been talking about benefits of coming to FabTech, and obviously we've had Miranda walking around trying to grab people to come talk to us. And so we actually got someone here. I'll let Matthew kind of introduce her.
Yeah, super pumped to have Stephanie here. She's right across the aisle from us. I recognized her this morning because I was at another conference last year, and you were there as well. Okay. Stephanie is the face of the American Welding Society.
Yeah.
And she's a spokesperson for them, and so glad to have you here. And she's going to just talk to us a little bit about her experience with FabTech and maybe why you think people should come to FabTech.
Yeah, so my experience with FabTech started many years ago when I was just a welding instructor, and I started getting involved with the American Welding Society back then as a welding instructor, and started going to different networking things here at FabTech, and it just kind of exploded my career. So within, I guess, probably 4 or 5 FabTechs, I networked myself around enough that the AWS approached me to come work for them, and then through that I ended up getting YouTube channels and Netflix shows. And
You've actually had a Netflix show.
Yeah, so
that was tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the Netflix show is called Metal Shop Masters. It's me, it's myself, Joe Coy, the comedian, and then David Madero. We host the show, and it's kind of a metal art competition show. I'm a pipe welder by trade. I've been in
You told me earlier today that you were crawling around in the pipes in a chemical plant at one time. So believe it or not, this lady was crawling around in chemical plant.
Yes, I did that for a long time. And I don't know, I was there to be the content expert there and talk about all things welding related, though got edited out significantly because apparently it was going to alienate too much of the population that was watching it.
You were being too technical.
Apparently. I mean, I work for the AWS. What do you expect, right? So yeah, I would say FabTech played an integral role in the development of my career.
And it was network. You mentioned networking.
Yeah,
we actually just
networking.
talked about that. So
yeah.
I think a lot of people in our industry, when they hear networking, they're kind of like, ooh, we're not doing the speed dating stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the show floor itself, it's kind of networking, but it's different.
Yeah.
It's the after hours networking.
That's what we said earlier, yeah.
I know you got to get going here soon, but what is like one benefit? Like we're talking to like fabrication shops, probably smaller ones, maybe a little bit bigger
owners, leaders of shops.
Why, like if they've never been to FabTech, why should they? Why should they come to a conference like FabTech?
One, there's a ton of fantastic business-related seminars that they host here for people who are trying to expand their markets, but also it talks a lot about what's new, up and coming trends. How is some of this new technology, like cobots, for instance, for that small to medium fabrication shop, how are you going to be able to implement them? And then creating those connections with the people selling those products and being able to firsthand see multiple of these products being kind of used in kind of real life simulations. And actually see the usability of it.
You can cut through a lot of the BS pretty quick.
Yeah, a little bit faster than having to like shop on the internet and get wait for somebody to call you back and this and that. So, I'm a former business owner myself. I own a fabrication company and a welding school. So, coming to these types of things, this is where you're going to meet those people who are going to help save your ass, when that job comes up that you need some help with.
Yeah, because a lot of times it's just as much about the support and the maintenance of the machines as their performance. And everything's going to have issues at some time, and you can meet people here at the show and really get a sense of who they are and are they going to be the kind of people that stand behind their product.
Yeah, definitely.
So Stephanie, we're going to let you go, but first maybe tell the listeners how they could follow along with you. I know you obviously you're probably on different social media platforms or anywhere that you want them to kind of check out what you do and things like that.
Yeah, so I have Instagram and LinkedIn. I have a new Instagram thing since selling my companies, and it's just my name, Stephanie Hoffman. I'm pretty easy to find, so
awesome.
Nothing too fancy.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks,
thank
guys.
you so much.
Appreciate it.
Well, too bad, was it?
No, that was great.
So we just heard from Stephanie. I think that was kind of lucky that Matthew, speaking of networking, he actually went and talked to her earlier to kind of learn a little bit about her, and he was like, man, we should have her on the podcast. And
actually, Adam Schmidt, he walked over to talk to her, believe it or not. He wanted to learn about, what is it called? The welding simulator.
Experience virtual welding?
Virtual welding, yeah. He wanted to do virtual welding. He actually beat me in the virtual welding contest, believe it or not. So he's a better virtual welder than I'm challenging him to a true welding duel, though. So that's how we ended up over there. But yeah, and I recognized her from last year at the show. And we got somebody else.
Oh, we got another guest.
Hey,
Hold on,
we got
before we wrap up.
hang on. We got you're the guy hooting and hollering over there.
I'm the loudmouth of the.
We're trying to do a podcast over here.
Y'all couldn't hear over me?
Yeah, here, have a seat.
I'll sit in it.
So we're recording. We're making Sparks, by the way. Hi, I'm Matthew.
I'm Chris.
This is Casey.
I'm Casey.
Casey?
I like your mustache.
Thank you very much.
So we're recording a podcast episode about why people should come to FabTech.
Okay.
Apparently you're over here hooting and hollering.
I
so
am, absolutely.
you got to tell us why.
Why were you hooting and hollering?
Why would you? Yeah.
So, I'm actually a weld instructor. So I like to come here and network. I always run into people and business owners that I know. Some that I don't know, I get to network. And then the students end up with the benefit of that because they're like, hey, we have stuff we want to donate. Okay, I will absolutely accept that. I got to participate in a $20 weld competition, and I randomly won a drawing for this fancy Optrail hood. So
Nice.
that's why I was hooting and hollering. My random number 47 was drawn, and I got a free weld hood out of it. So I'm not gonna. Better
I
a
love
sharp
the
stick in
energy.
your
I
eye.
love the energy,
Something
man.
cool that you said is we've been talking, just me and Matthew here, about the benefits of FabTech, and probably the number one we've talked about is networking. We talked to two other people, or one other person. They talked about networking. You mentioned it. What are some other benefits that you've seen coming to FabTech?
Oh, I mean, you learn new stuff every time you come out here. There's no way any one person can know every piece of new technology that you're going to see when you show up. So even if you stay abreast of all the newest stuff that's out there, you're going to come here and still see something or somebody that you've never seen before.
Right. I mean, I got to sit down with somebody with a handlebar mustache.
That's right.
And he's getting to be on a podcast at FabTech, which is kind of
Right.
weird.
I mean, I'll also shout out weld.com.
Weld.com?
Weld.com. So
How'd you get that?
So, I mean, y'all heard me shouting from over there, right? I'm not exactly a shy person. One of my hobbies is I like to get into acting. I've done theater, stage, TV, film, a little bit of everything. So I get to pair my passion for welding, the one thing I'm qualified to talk to anybody about, with my desire to be in front of people, in front of the camera, and really showcasing an industry that I'm passionate about.
Awesome. So what's weld.com?
So weld.com is a resource for anybody that's in the weld industry. There's actually an app out now. You go to your app store, whichever one it is, you search weld, and it's going to pull up a social media app that is like Facebook, except none of the negativity. Like, my favorite part about the app is that there's literally nobody on there to tear you down. If you ask a question, could be what you consider the dumbest question ever. You're going to get industry experts, subject matter experts, people that have been doing this a long time, and other people that are just learning. They get to learn from your question, as well as you get positive feedback on all this stuff. People can post just pictures of whatever it is they're working on, art, whether they're working in the industry. There's a job market, so you can go on their job boards and see if there's something job related in your area. You can sell your gear. You're making art, you're making knives, whatever it is. You can go right into the app and you can sell your stuff through there. But the positivity and the ability to learn from others online by just snapping a picture and putting it in this app that's specifically designed for welders is, I mean, it's a resource this arena has been missing for a long time.
Oh my
Casey,
God.
I think
this dude is awesome.
we just summed up right why you should come to FabTech, because
'Cause
we
just
literally just pulled him, somebody from our team pulled him out of the aisle to sit down next to us. We're trying to add value. We're trying to help fabricators grow or improve their shop. We just learned about an app that we didn't even know about.
So you can go to YouTube and search weld.com, and there's really a handful of good sources of information on YouTube. WeldTube, Jody's Welding Tips and Tricks, and weld.com have really been these resources that even if you're just starting out in your garage and you don't have access to a class, you just have your hobbyist level machine, you're going to get support from people that you can ask any question in the world. We get to make videos on this stuff, and then again, you go into the app and there's premium content. You can literally have a full educational experience just from the app. Now, you're never going to be able to learn without actually being hands-on with the weld equipment, but you can front load all that knowledge. If you're an instructor like me and you're like, hey, maybe I don't have enough resources, where can I get more? You go over to weld.com, you go download the app, and now you have this plethora of videos, you have documented information, and you can go back and actually check the sources on this information as well. There's a weld setting calculator right in the pocket, so it really is a one-stop shop for all things welding.
Cool stuff, man. Well, thanks for
thank you so much
You
for
are
coming
sitting
on.
down
very welcome.
with us.
I appreciate
the
it, man.
opportunity.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we'll hang around here. We'll connect with you so we can.
I
connect on
definitely want to
social
get if you have a
media.
business card. Or
I do
or if
indeed.
you're on
Yeah.
Are you on LinkedIn?
I am.
Well, I'll have
Chris,
to connect
you-
on LinkedIn. I'm gonna go
I
ahead
am-
and give you a business card right now because I printed off with the just connect me on LinkedIn.
Sweet. Yeah,
That's
the,
my thing.
he's proud of
I
his
mainly
new
just want
card.
you to scan that, but you can also look
He's
me up
proud
on
of
that
his
stuff.
new
Insta and TikTok, the Shibby Welder.
I just want to connect with you because now I'm literally what you said, Matthew. The whole goal of this podcast is to bring value to fabrication business owners, fabricators, things like that. And you just answered a lot of questions, a lot of people on how do they share that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's me.
All right, so we'll wrap this up so we can go.
Yeah, so,
have some food and some beers.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna say that's a good way to wrap it up. We had 2 great little short interviews with people, and I'm having a blast here at FabTech 2023. Matthew, how you doing? Good.
I'm doing good. I'm ready for some food and a beer.
All right, so
All
we're gonna
right.
wrap up. So make sure you guys share and follow our podcast, Making Sparks. Share it on social media. Review us, rate us. You know,
Let other people know about it. If you're listening to it for the first time, share it with others.
Yeah.
Casey, you want to wrap us up here? How do we end the show?
You wrap it up.
If you're not making sparks,
You're not making money.
bam. All right.